Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maverick Mindset Radio Show. I am Adam Williams.
And I'm Ashley Muckenhop.
And this is the radio show for the dreamers and doers. It's for those who are willing to step into the arena.
Some call us the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
We do not accept the status quo. We leave the world better than we find it.
We approach each day with enthusiasm, unknown to mankind. We maintain irrational optimism about the future.
This is the Maverick Mindset Radio Show, brought to you by me, Adam Williams.
I almost messed that up.
My chair is really squeaky today.
Your mic is really loud.
I don't know if it's the mic
it's powerful
or if it's me. No,
Adam Williams is
I feel
really
like I sound
loud.
good. I'm under-caffeinated today, but we'll get
Oh,
there.
no.
What do you mean, oh no?
You're cranky when you're under-caffeinated.
Well, you're cranky.
Remember
Regardless
that
of-
great idea when you decided to do a cleanse when you got back from the trip and you had no caffeine?
I think that was pretty good. I
Oh,
might
my
do
goodness.
that again.
Please don't. That was that was a lot.
I don't want to start the show like this, Ashley.
Sorry.
All right.
More
Show-
positive.
No, I'm excited to be here today. It looks like it's about to start raining
I know,
really
I
bad
saw
outside.
that.
I'm nervous about this. But show number 63. Man, you came to me and you're like, we need to do a show on communication. You sounded just like that.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means because you failed to communicate it. So we started prepping for this one, and our topic, our official title today is Communication and Talk That Works, because the right words can close deals, build teams, and move markets. That is not the title that I wrote.
It's not. I liked mine better.
Well, clearly, because you put it in the run of show. I was ready to. I don't even remember my title, but it was something along the lines of your poor communication or your lack of a system is costing you clients and efficiency with your team.
Yeah, I have that, and I figure we'll just kind of throw it in there. But I didn't want it to be the top of the.
All right,
the
but when we
title.
go and edit the videos for the shorts
You
for
gonna
like
do
YouTube, yeah, I'm just going to take out the part where we use my words.
Okay.
Man, this chair is.
It is. I don't know. That's normally not like
There's
that.
no WD-40 in here. Hand me that hand sanitizer.
By the way, if that chair breaks in the midst of this show, you go down. I am laughing.
I'm going on another cleanse. That was mean.
I would die.
It's not going to break. It's just squeaking.
Oh my god. Well, something's loose.
Jeez. All right. What are we even doing?
Okay. Communicating.
Yeah. You're...
I might have had too much.
Here we
caffeine
are,
this
Maverick
morning.
Mindset Radio Show, blowing your minds every Wednesday at 9, going live at 9:05 on Facebook. Check out our Maverick Mindset Radio account. Of course, we've got all of our episodes on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple iTunes. And, of course, you can find more at MaverickMindsetRadio.com. Let's jump into it. What do you have for the quote of the day today?
Oh, I like this one. It's by Mark Twain. I thought it was pretty good.
Is this a quote from Mark Twain according to ChatGPT?
Why do you ask me that all the time? Why can't you just let me have this?
Because ChatGPT makes things up.
No, it's fine. I feel like this sounds like Mark Twain.
Did you volunteer for the AI committee in
I
our
did.
business? Okay,
Yep,
good.
I'm on it.
Because all right, so I'm all over the AI
Yes.
thing right now. With the release of ChatGPT 5, it's like, oh boy, it's time. We're there. So one of I'm thinking about something I never think about, which is creating rules. I'm not
Okay.
normally that type of person, but I mean, we've got to have some, we want to have great ideas and we want to
Yes.
brainstorm how to use AI and we want to have best practices and guidelines, but like we also need rules.
Yes.
And one of my rules is whatever ChatGPT spits out is not a finished product. Like
Oh.
you must put human eyes on it.
Yeah.
And two, you can't believe anything it says when it comes to facts. Like it's great at thinking and it's great at giving advice, but it makes stuff up. I think they call it a hallucination.
So are you saying we still need people?
For now.
Yeah.
For now. But I've also said, and we've had guests on the show that have said, like AI isn't going to replace you, but
Yeah.
people that use AI are going to replace you.
Right.
So yeah, we still do need humans for now. Honestly, it's not a long way off though. So, using ChatGPT for facts or finding quotes may or may not work.
You got to fact check GPT.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
Got it.
It's only a matter of time.
Right. Well, I believe
it's only
this
a matter
came
of time.
from Mark Twain.
It's only a matter of time before we put a prompt into AI and it just does an hour-long episode for us, and we don't even have to do
We
this.
should just try it sometime just to see what
It exists.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it done. All right, we're gonna do an AI show.
like on a day that we can't be here, it'll be an AI show.
Oh, I know what day that's gonna be.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about that.
Can you make?
I need a day off.
Can my person be the drama 9000? The robot.
That's an inside joke for everybody that doesn't understand the reference. Somebody said something about somebody being dramatic in the office, and I said Ashley is 9,000 times more dramatic.
Yes.
And then I created an image of a robot using AI, and it was called the Drama 9000, and it was a robot with Ashley's face.
Yeah.
And she loved it.
It was funny. It was funny because I said it kind of resembled Nebula, so I was kind of like, that's not bad.
From
Marvels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but what's the oh my gosh, I'm
Is
drawing
it-
a blank on it.
It's not the one with Captain America. It's one where they were all together. Which one was that?
Avengers.
Avengers.
It's
That's it.
it's Avengers, but it's what's the one with Star-Lord and Groot and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's
oh
it.
my
Yes.
gosh.
Whew,
But yeah,
there's so many.
Nebula's Thanos' daughter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I need more caffeine. All right, so let's hear this quote that ChatGPT made up but attributed to Mark Twain.
Yes. Oh, that was a better way to put it. Okay. Better way to communicate that. All right. The difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. And
I like that.
I do too, because it means that how I explained this was the precision in language is not a small matter. It's the difference between commanding attention or being ignored.
Okay, I fact checked it.
Is it right?
Mark Twain did say something along those lines, so that was pretty good.
Got it. What are your thoughts on this quote?
Oh man. So just yesterday, I got a bunch of my circus posters back that I got framed.
Okay.
And I haven't really seen them because they came rolled up, and you lay them out on the table and look at them. But
Yeah.
like now that they're framed and they're
Different?
upright, yeah, you can really take it all in. And I had a couple visitors over yesterday to come and see them.
Did you hang it? Did you hang them?
No, well, no. I mean, these things are massive.
Oh.
They're like, I don't know, 3 by 5 feet, maybe not that tall, maybe 3 by 4. Anyway, they're big posters.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of leaning up against the wall in my basement because you can't like just throw them up on. You got to
It's gotta be a vision.
which one goes where.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking a lot about that yesterday because the copy on these circus posters, and I think all the ones I got back yesterday were all made by the Erie Lithograph Company, which is another request for you listeners in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm looking for history on the Erie Lithograph Company. I was at dinner on Friday, and just casually someone goes, "Oh, and have you guys ever heard of the Erie Lithograph Company? My uncle worked there." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, all right."
Well, what
let's hear
is
more
the
about-"
Erie Lithograph Company?
Well, they were like lithography is like printing.
Okay.
So
this is old back in the day.
Yeah, they
Okay.
made circus posters in the 1800s and 1900s. So their claim to fame was, there were big circuses.
Yeah.
There was Ringling Brothers and P.T. Barnum, etc. And they could afford a lot of advertising and marketing. But then there were these smaller circuses that they just didn't have the money, right? So Erie Lithograph came up with this idea of we're going to design a poster with the artwork of, a lady riding a horse or a person on a trapeze or someone fighting off lions and tigers. And all we're going to do is we're going to change the name of the circus on the top, and then we can make these little tear-off sheets that have the, date and location of the circus. So smaller circuses didn't need to go out and have their own posters designed.
I see.
And the designs are really cool, and they're beautiful artwork. The other interesting thing is with Erie Litho, none of the artists signed their names on it, so you don't know who any of these artists were. They're anonymous. So these things have started to become a little collectible because you can have two versions of the same exact poster, and one is for one circus and another is for another circus.
So so these were like, what's the word I'm looking for? They were the same. So it was, and they just changed the
right. And the posters were collectible because you'd have an advance team go into a city, put posters up all over. We'll be here August 23rd. And they'd put up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of posters. And then the circus would come in with their trains and they'd unload and they'd set up the circus and they'd put on their spectacle, which is the parade through the town.
Yeah.
And then they'd tear everything down and leave. But the advance team would tear down the posters, rip off the date and location and go to the next town.
And use it again.
Put it, yeah.
Very
So
cool.
one of the posters that I didn't just get it framed, but I just acquired this one from an auction, actually has the date and location card or tear off on the bottom, which is kind of difficult to find. So anyway, I've been thinking a lot about using the right words because the copy on these posters is very compelling. They use it's a small space because you need to write it big enough that people can read it from a distance, which is something that people who create billboards never understand. So you want few words, which means the words that you choose have to be very powerful. So that makes me think of that. It also makes me think of practicing law, because we used to have to do a lot of reading and
Yeah.
and speaking to some extent. And I think I was at like a continuing education course, and Judge Garhart was giving a lesson on good legal writing.
Yeah.
And he said something along the lines of, don't be afraid to write really well. Don't be afraid to get creative and write impactfully, because most lawyers are, here's the facts.
Yes.
Here's the issue. Here's the rule. Here's my analysis. Here's my conclusion. Like, it's very, I don't know, clinical. But good legal writing, or good writing in
Yeah.
general, is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. I think that's a really great example.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example. I thought this was kind of cute. Royce is a freshman in high school. One of his teachers sent an email to all of the parents and said, you know, want to get to know your kid? Can you write me a letter telling me about your child?
Oh.
So I'm like,
Oh, no.
I like novel projects,
Yes.
right? Like the day-to-day homework was never my thing, but anytime there was an extracurricular or like a project, like I love doing that
Yep.
stuff. So I'm like, all right, this is a little out of the ordinary. So you want to know
good.
what I wrote?
Yes, I want to know.
Because what happened is I started it, Jackie finished it and sent it back to me this morning, and then I'll approve it and we'll send it to the teacher. So this is a letter. I'll summarize a little bit, but this is a letter to a 9th grade science teacher about my 14-year-old son.
Oh, man.
I said, in the early 90s,
Jeez.
Mike Tyson was invincible. He couldn't be beat.
Yeah.
He was Iron Mike. He was the undisputed champion of the world. He had a video game named after him. And then on February 10th, 1990, James Buster Douglas knocked him out in the 10th round in a fight in Tokyo.
That's how you open the letter.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it was February 10th. It might have been February 4th, but whatever.
Right.
So yeah, James Buster Douglas knocked him out. And it's considered one of the greatest upsets in sports history. Right? Why did Tyson lose the fight?
Was it?
Well, it's not because he's lacking natural talent.
Right.
And it's not because he's lacking experience. And it's not because he doesn't understand what to do. It's because he didn't put in the work.
Yeah.
That's Royce Williams.
Oh.
He's got all the talent in the world. And when he puts in the work, he's as good as it gets. He just doesn't always want to put in the work.
Did Royce read the?
No. Ironically, I'm like, Royce, what should I tell your science teacher? He goes, I don't care. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm telling her.
Yeah.
But you don't even understand.
That's great.
But think about that. You could, what's every other parent going to say?
My kid likes this.
My kid went to Erie Day School and he likes watching football and he loves
In his
science.
free time.
Yeah. And, right.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be the same. But every time that teacher looks at Royce, she's going to think of Mike Tyson. She's going to remember that story and she's going to say, I got to get this kid interested
Yeah.
because he's got the natural talent.
It sticks. It is something that.
Now I need to go back and read that letter because Jackie and I started it together. I handed it to her to revise. She may have taken that story out of there, but I can't let her do that.
Yeah.
Because that's the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. I'm sure
Yeah.
she didn't because she understood exactly why I was putting it in there. So,
Well, we do this in. So I always do the first round of our interviews.
yes.
And 9 times out of 10, the person that I'm talking to says, I saw the job ad and how it was written and it grabbed my attention because it's different than all the other ones out there. So after I read it,
we have that guy that I interviewed last week and Jackie interviewed him yesterday
Yeah.
that already accepted another job, and we took long enough to get back to him that he accepted it, but he's like, no, I'm still interested because like this sounds really cool.
yeah. But again, and it's what caught my attention
Yeah.
when I applied to work for you because I'm like, this is not a normal
So
job description.
I think here's the point is don't be afraid to be great when it comes to your communication. And I think a lot of people are. I think they're afraid to stick their necks out there. They're afraid to be different, or they don't even stop to think about it. And
Yes.
that's kind of where we started with the topic of this show is we had a goal in the law firm. I don't know that it was a core value. I don't know that it was a rule, but we had a goal that the number one complaint that people have about their lawyers is my lawyer never got back to me.
Yeah.
And from the lawyer perspective, listen, folks, there's a really good reason for that. They're really busy. They're working on a bunch of other stuff. There's 1,000 competing priorities, and sending you an update saying there's no updates is not the best use of their time in their minds.
Right.
But from a business perspective, what a horrible approach to it, and what a horrible customer client experience. So our goal was give the client an update before they ask us for an update.
Yes.
Which is not always possible.
Yeah.
Like it can be tough because you get distracted and there's a lot of other things going on. And again, you get random notices from the court saying you have to be at a hearing tomorrow. Well, it's like, now I got to prepare for that hearing, and I was supposed to update all my clients. But that was our goal, is communicate with the clients before they communicate with us. We've adapted that, or I guess expanded on it with Pennywise Tax Strategies, that we're pretty clear that we are not a communication via email by default company.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is email has its time and place, but it should not be your primary means of communication.
Yeah.
It sucks as a means of communication. Email's a horrible way to communicate, because you never you completely take the human element out of it, of intonation and cadence and attitude and body language, and you can read however you want to read into someone's email, whether
You
it's how
could
they
put your own
intended
tone to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which you guys always do.
Yeah.
Well, the client said, meh, meh, meh. I said, did they say that, or is that the way that you're reading it? So our goal, or our preference in Pennywise, is first, meet in person. Well, that's very rare.
Yeah.
Second, meet on Zoom. That way you're having a dialogue. You can see the nuances. You can answer questions and then answer the sub-questions that come out from that. So Zoom first. And if you can't do Zoom, do a phone call.
Yep.
And if you can't do phone call, then fine, maybe do an email.
Yeah.
And email's great to confirm what you said during these other meetings and take up the notes, but email's a horrible way to give advice to somebody, because there's so much nuance to it.
Yeah.
And then the last option is text. And text is great for, hey, don't forget we're meeting in 15 minutes, right?
Right.
Or in 24 hours or whatever it is. So that has been my frustration in a professional services business, is email has become the default means of communication, except it's a horrible way to communicate. It's easier for you,
not me,
because you can say, hey, are there any updates, or what's going on? So you spent 7 seconds doing that. And then I'm going to pull out my file, review my notes, type you an email, revise that email, hit send. So I just spent 27 minutes doing that. And then you know what's going to happen? You're going to read that email, and then you're going to send, can you better explain this? And then I'm back to, so it's very easy for you to create so much work for me very easily.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with email, is if we just had a communication, we could have this thing resolved in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if we just got on Zoom, or if we met in person, or we got on the phone, this could be done in 5 minutes. Instead, it's created this imbalance where you've spent 30 seconds on it and I've spent 49 minutes on it.
Because there's always questions. There's always clarification. There's always, so it's never.
Unless it's something simple like, are we meeting Tuesday at 11 a.m.? Yes. See you then.
Yeah.
But it's usually, man, I should show you some of the Facebook messages that I get. Yeah. Like, hey, can you tell me how I can buy a 6,000-pound car in my business and write it off this year? Yes, I can. Not via, like,
right.
if it was just a matter of typing that question and getting a good answer, you could use Google or AI.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. It's so much more nuanced than that. So that's where we started with this topic, is I have very strong opinions when it comes to communication and the methods and the timeliness of it. And then you wanted to do a whole show on it.
Yeah. Well,
and I think
it's important.
Were you a communications major?
Yeah, I have a master's in communication, so it bothers me.
How long does it take you to get a master's in communication?
It took me 2 years. 2 years for your master's.
Full time.
Yeah, full time.
And what do you learn?
Well, you're learning you learn the culture of communication. You learn conflict communication. So you're learning it's not your basic public speaking, and this is how you take your debate classes and regular communication. This is more, now you're really digging in how to communicate with different people and how to look at communication and things that are happening, especially in conflict communication, and listening and kind of taking your own bias out of it to try and find, like, understanding everybody else's perception. So it just teaches you're diving deeper into that world.
Okay.
It's
That sounds like an expensive.
it was. I'll pay for it for the rest of my life.
Okay.
But
But we're doing a radio show on it.
yeah, and I don't know. I feel I connect differently with people and have conversations differently with people and can hear people differently than I think people that don't have that skill of communication, because it's not a skill that everybody has.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing things differently, or I'm listening to things differently in a way to respond back than other people are, which I guess is great and helps me in sales, because I can, again, we talked about this the other day, not every sales conversation is the same. So you really have to sit there and listen to people. And I just had this on a sales call yesterday, be able to speak their language in a way that they understand.
I actually got that yesterday. A client that I was talking to said you did a really good job on the sales call, because it was clear that you had an agenda and things that you wanted to cover, but it was also clear that you adapted it and didn't get into the stuff that, like,
Yeah.
a lot of salespeople, a lot of phone salespeople in particular, are going to ask the questions on the script without thinking about whether that question actually matters in that moment.
Right.
So that was, all right, adapting your communication style is good.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of communication,
Yes.
when we prepared for this show and I wrote down all my notes,
Yeah.
and then I left them in the office, you typed up notes.
Yep.
And I came up with some tips
Mm-hmm.
for how to have an effective communication system.
Yes.
And when I gave you those tips, I said, tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3. And when you took the notes, you wrote them down as A and B
Yeah.
and C. How many tips do we have?
10.
J. So we have, I'm like, I was such an orderly numbered list, and now it's alphabetized.
So
All right.
what I don't do again, so when I'm taking notes, what I realize too is I do better when I'm writing them.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps me to understand it better if I'm listening and writing. And so I'm coming back from a notebook and trying to then read my writing because I was doing it so fast. And
That's why
this
I got.
is what happened.
That's why I got the Remarkable tablet.
Ooh,
Have you seen this
that.
thing?
I have
It's
not.
pretty sweet. I was going to go buy a new iPad, and they didn't have what I wanted anywhere in stock, and it was like the day before or the day.
Jackie have one? I feel like she was just talking
She got
about.
one
Okay.
as soon as I did, because she's
Okay.
like, oh yeah, I need that. So I have I'm taking all my notes on this thing electronically, and it will convert your writing to text if you
Really?
do it well enough. Yeah. So I got things way more organized on here now. So
And
all
by
right.
the way, your topic that, or your title that you chose is in here because you said your lack of an effective communication system is costing you clients, costing you money, and preventing your team from working to their full capacity. And it's these 10 tips that will help you not do that.
Man, that would have been such a better show than you came up with. All right, let's tip number 11. Insert some humor. All right, 10 tips for an effective communication
Number
system.
A.
And I think we are in particular talking about sort of a manager subordinate or working with your team role, but I think these are applicable in every other situation too. This is applicable to your spouse, to your children, to prospects and potential clients. So number 1, there should be no mind reading. Mm-hmm. You as the speaker, as the deliverer of this message, need to make your expectations clear.
Yeah.
So it is the obligation of the leader, we'll say, it is the obligation of the leader to be clear, but it is the obligation of the recipient to clarify.
Yes.
So if there is ambiguity or you don't understand, you need to ask. So when I say tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3, and you type down tip A, tip B, and tip C, I should have been more clear that, hey, I want these numbered because it's easier to follow while I'm speaking.
Yes.
And you maybe should have clarified, hey,
How do you want this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you want this in alphabetical order? The reason you didn't ask me is because I would have been like, why in the world
I know.
would I want letters instead of numbers?
And then it
it's a
would have
top 10
clicked.
list.
Yeah.
It's a top 10. It's a top J list. All right. So number 1, no mind reading.
Yes.
That's a tip for an effective
And you know how
communication
many
strategy.
people have a thought and don't say it and they just assume that you have understood?
You know, I'm glad you said that because tip number 2
Oh,
is don't make assumptions.
Went right into that. I
And
didn't
it's one of our core values in our business of,
Yeah.
of find the truth. So if you
Yes.
aren't sure, then clarify. So yeah, don't assume you understand it. You need to ask questions so that you understand it. And this is why I put 100% of the responsibility both on the speaker and the listener in this, because the speaker needs to make sure that it's clear enough. So I will often say, repeat back to me what I just said to
Yes.
you, right? But as the recipient of the information, you need to say, what I'm hearing you say is this, is that right?
Do you know the nervousness that I feel when it's not that I wasn't paying attention, but rarely does that happen where someone makes you say what you've understood. And it always, every single time throws me off guard. And I'm like,
Here's the only reason it should scare you
Why?
is because if I catch you not listening and I say, repeat back what I just said,
It'd be very,
then I'm going to be
yeah.
a little upset.
Yeah.
But if it's just to clarify, like, hey, again, it's 100% on me to make sure you understand it. And it's
Yeah.
100% on you to make sure that you're actually listening and understanding. So, yeah, I wouldn't be nervous about that. Like, it's
Yeah.
to make sure that we're on the same page. Because I would rather clarify it now than have you go and start on a project and come back to me with the completely wrong answer.
Yeah.
Because you didn't bother upfront to clarify, or I didn't bother upfront to say, tell me what I just told you so I can make sure that you understand it.
Why do you think people have a hard time asking questions, like saying, hey, I don't get this?
Because we're selfish and we're the center of the universe and I'm the most important person, and clearly whatever I say you're going to understand because I said it in a way that I understand.
Right.
So it's inward focused on me of, did I get all my words out?
Yeah.
Good. You clearly understand this. And not a focus on you of, do you actually understand what I'm saying? This is Jackie Williams walking into the room and she immediately starts talking to me, except what she's telling me is the part of the story that she's at in her head, and I missed the beginning of it.
Right.
So I'll be sitting in the basement. I got to think of a good example. I'll be sitting in the basement, like quietly. Maybe there's some calm music playing.
Yes.
I'm reading a book. If it's chilly out, there's a fire in the fireplace.
I can see it.
And I see her. Yeah, I'm painting the picture. This is good communication. And I'll hear her come down the stairs. And she'll say, I think I like the blue one better than the pink one.
Oh, no.
And it's like, can we start at the beginning of the conversation that you've been having with yourself so that I can get up to speed on what
So I know
blue
what that
thing and what
means.
pink thing we're talking about, right? But in her mind, it's okay because she was like,
She's already
she was
had the
there,
whole conversation.
right.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is not a Jackie Williams thing. This isn't we all do this. We all assume that because we've said it or because it's clear to us, it's clear to you. So it's really important. Tip number 2 in effective communication strategy or system is don't make assumptions. And make sure that you clarify. Okay, tip number 3. These are all really difficult things. So maybe my advice is don't go and try and tackle all of these at once, but write them all down and start working on one at a time. It's like I've been rowing a lot recently on the Peloton.
Oh, you have a goal, don't you?
Oh yeah, and I'm behind pace.
oh.
Now that you mention it, I got to
Yeah,
pull
what
it
is
up.
it? What was the goal and where are we?
I wanted to row 1 million meters this year, which ends up being a little over, I think it's around 15 minutes a day on average for me. And I am currently, I'm at 576,000. So
Wow.
I'm over halfway, but it is the end of August. I lost a month because of the trip, so I had to reevaluate. So I'm based on my redoing the goal after we were gone for a month. I'm about 60 minutes behind right now. So I'll get there. But anyway, spent a lot of time on this rower, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to row legs, body, arms, body, legs. Legs, body, arms, body, legs. That's the first time I've ever said that, and that's hard to say. So now I give even more credit to the Peloton instructors. So you push with your legs, then you lean back with your body, then you pull with your arm. It's getting quieter because I'm leaning away from the microphone as I say this. And then when you go back in, you do your arms first, body second, legs third, right?
But this is a very quick motion.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
But they say, and there's a little thing on the screen that tracks your movement and makes sure that you're doing it right. But they say, hey, focus on one thing. Maybe it's the catch. Maybe it's the pull. Maybe it's just the arms. Maybe it's just the legs. Maybe it's just how much you're leaning. Like, focus on one thing at a time. So this is my Peloton instructor moment of we're giving you 10 tips. Maybe just start with one of them. So tip number 3 for an effective communication system, being a better communicator, is be open and honest.
Yep.
Don't keep things to yourself. Don't bury it. Be honest. Be truthful. If if there's a problem and you aren't sharing it, you're not being open and honest.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
we want to hear it, and we want to hear it truthfully. I'll never forget the last law office I worked in. There was a guy that came in. I mean, a lot of these attorneys were there every single weekend, but there was one weekend where he must have been there by himself or something. And when we came in on Monday, there were about 17 new passive-aggressive notes posted throughout the building. Like, don't forget that when you leave for the night, this door needs to be locked.
He found all the
Post-it note, yeah.
problems.
Don't forget, or anyone having a problem understanding the fact that this coffee pot needs to be emptied daily, please see blah, blah, blah for any questions, right? Like, just the whole thing. And it's like, man, not really open.
Yeah.
Like, he let all of this stuff fester, and then we ran out of Post-it notes that weekend as he was going around sharing all of these passive aggressive
Instead of
notes.
being honest in the moment when things were happening.
Yeah.
And saying,
So we
hey.
just had this with Chrissy. We've been talking a lot about her, both internally and on this show. Like, she was not doing a good job, and she was ruining my life.
Yeah.
And I had to tell her that. I was being open and honest. And it was an ongoing thing, and it was becoming problematic. And then finally, last week, she sat down and said, listen, if you expect this and this and this out of this job, you need to stop making me do this and this and this, right? I can focus on the high value stuff if you take the low value stuff off of my plate because you just keep dumping it on me. And it's like, oh, I did not know that. I thought you were just bad at your job. But that's
Well,
the
'cause
point,
that-
is like,
that
until
conversation
she was open about it, until she was honest about it, I just assumed she was bad at her job.
Yeah.
Right. And then I said, all right, I can help you fix that, and you'll be good at your job again, and my life won't be ruined, and this will be fantastic. So open and honest. This is a good one to, we hear about this a lot running on EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, that it's one of the guiding principles for the meetings, the level 10 meetings, the quarterly strategic meetings. Like, you have to be open and honest. If there's something that you're thinking about, you have to get it out there. And we have to be adults about it, and we have to face these things head on.
Well, because I think too, if you're not, and you're holding in these problems or these things that you're thinking, it then starts to change the way that you start communicating with each other, because now you're coming from a place of almost resentment that somebody isn't doing what you're expecting them to do. So the way that you're going to communicate them is not coming from understanding anymore. Now it's coming from just, you're ruining my life. And I don't understand why, but now I'm just angry, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to be angry about it. And
So that's related to point number 4,
Yes.
which you've labeled D.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Be direct. People have such a hard problem with communicating directly to people. They'll talk around them. They'll talk about them. They'll talk to others about them, but they won't be direct and say, here's what's going on right now with me that you need to know. Or, you're ruining my life and you need to do better. Or, again, like you said, the resentment. Like, if every time the landscaper comes to our office and cuts the grass, and they leave the grass clippings in the parking lot, and it's a mess, and I resent that every single week when they come and mow, well, the best way to fix that is to be direct and call the guy and say, hey, listen, every time you guys come and mow, there's grass clippings that you leave in a parking lot. Could you please get a leaf blower or get a bag and clean that stuff up?
Yeah.
And that's it. But so many people are afraid to do that because they're afraid, well, if I'm direct and I say what I actually want, they're not going to like me. So we'd rather get trampled all over. And listen, our landscaper doesn't do that, but they'd rather get trampled all over than actually be direct and say what they want, because by being direct, it can come across as mean, or you're the B word, or you're selfish. And it's like, no, I respect you enough as a human being and as an adult that I can be direct with you and tell you exactly what I'm thinking or feeling or needing.
Yeah. Well, where are they going with this one? Oh, this is what I want to say. Okay. So I think too that people are afraid of the reaction that they're going to get back, because a lot of people usually respond defensively. If you are if you tell someone what your expectations are, or you're telling them that they have failed to meet them, I feel like 9 times out of 10, they don't take that constructively and they come back at you defensively. And so you're expecting that reaction from them. And so it's like, I
You know
don't
what
wanna-
I'm going to do in that? That's a good point that I didn't even think about, because there are people that I'm direct with and they say, yep, I got it, I'll get better.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that I'm direct with and they do make excuses. And I try to minimize my exposure to the excuse makers.
Right,
But
because
yeah.
then I don't know how I'm going to respond back to the
So you know what I'm
excuse
going to do in that
makers.
situation is I'm going to dig in. I'm going to dig my heels in and say, okay, I told you I wanted the grass clippings cleaned up from the parking lot, and you're telling me that it's actually the neighbor's landscaper that's putting those grass clippings there. But when you show up and mow and you see the grass clippings in the parking lot, I still want you to clean them up. It's fine that you didn't put them there.
Right.
Now I feel like I'm talking to my teenager as
Right.
well. Well, that's not my dish. And I said, no, but it's the dish that belongs to the family, and
Yeah.
it's a mess, so put it in the sink, right? Or clean it, whatever. So yeah, I think it's doubly important in those moments to maybe understand why the person is being defensive, because they're afraid, oh, I'm getting in trouble, or I
Or they
didn't do
feel
my job.
challenged. They
Right.
feel challenged because all of a sudden you're holding a mirror up to, and not challenged because I feel like a lot of times that they're actually justified in why they
Yep.
feel challenged. They're challenged because you just called them out on something that they know that they're doing, and now they have to look at that. They have to see that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier for someone to throw out an excuse of why they didn't meet expectations or do things the right way. And then I sometimes find myself I don't feel like I respond okay to that. But I also, it's like, it's not worth it to keep challenging you on this because you're not getting it. And the problem then never goes away. It just keeps happening. It's a nasty, bad pattern.
So man, you've segued perfectly into like half of these things. So number
I
5.
keep doing this.
Number 5.
Oh, you did did you do that?
I just added them while you were talking. Number 5, now officially number 5 on our list.
Yeah.
You need to be persistent. So, man, that's exactly what we were just saying. So yeah, you need to be consistent. You need to follow up. You need to confirm that they understand the message. And I think especially when you're delegating something to someone or asking them to do something, you do need to check in
Yes.
with them, right?
Yeah.
So I gave you 90 days to do this thing. We're 30 days in. How's it going? We're 45 days in. How's it going? We're 89 days in. What do you need? This is also important for us hugely important for us in sales, right? Like, I can't tell you how many proposals I have from different businesses where I've received that proposal and nothing else. And if I wasn't there in my email the moment that it came in, it's now buried by 47 other emails, and I'm going to completely forget that I needed the thing that you're trying to sell me. So that persistence and that sticking with it. And I mean, I think for us, let's talk about a system where you're trying to schedule more sales appointments, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a fear from a lot of people that, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to come across as annoying or a nag. And yes, I don't want you to come across that way either. But if you do it properly and persistently, you're not going to come across as a nag. You're going to come across as really helpful. I think we're more likely to hear, thank you. I've been
Yes.
meaning to do this thing and I've just been so busy, and thank you so much for following up with me to get this done.
Yeah.
I have a doctor's appointment today. I haven't been to the doctor in a long time, so I got new paperwork to fill out and update them on things. And they've sent me like 7 different reminders of that. It's not annoying. It's, oh yeah, you know what? I was going to do that when I got home last night, but then it was raining and I had to go around my house and close all the windows, and I totally forgot about it. So
I had this happen to me yesterday. And so I have to take Cece to a new dentist. So you have to do the whole like new paperwork and all of that stuff. And they said they communicated that you have to have it in 2 weeks prior to the appointment. I don't remember having that conversation. It did not seem clear. But they also were sending text messages. But here was the thing with that also. They're sending them in the middle of the day, in my work day, when I'm really busy, and I'm not really reading them. I'm seeing them come through, but I'm also like forgetting that they happen. And
how many unread text messages do you have right now?
I go back and I read them all at the end of the day.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I have 41, and I think they go back to at least December.
Oh, my gosh. No. I read them all. I just don't read them all in the moment.
Okay.
So
I'll
then-
read them, but I'll mark them as unread, so I remember to go back to it.
got
And
it.
then I don't even do that.
Well, I get the message, your appointment has been canceled. And now, if anyone knows, to get into a dentist office takes a lot of time. So now I'm livid.
They canceled your appointment because you didn't send them.
I was a day late on the
Paperwork.
deadline. Yeah, 2 weeks prior to the appointment. They canceled the appointment.
What is in this paperwork?
I mean, you have to, it's like your life's history it's a lot and it's time consuming and I'm busy. So I called them and I wasn't very happy. And I'm like, my appointment or her appointment is 2 weeks from now. Yes, well, we said on the call that it will be canceled if it's not within 2 weeks. And I'm like,
I would not go back to that dentist.
I was so
I would be looking for a new dentist.
I was so
I think that's a
angry.
great example of how bad the client experience is and the patient experience is at most businesses.
You know
and
what was
especially
worse?
with medical professionals,
You know
where
what-
you're not even paying the bill. It's your insurance that's paying the bill, and they just don't. That's actually why I'm going to the doctor today.
Yeah.
Is I do concierge medicine. I'm not going to the regular doctor's office and dealing with that crap. I'm dealing with a doctor that has fewer patients, which we have to pay out of pocket for, but I can text her when
Yeah.
I have a weird rash.
Well, and here's a lesson to business owners and the person that's handling calls like that. She was beyond rude. I'm saying we didn't have this conversation when
She's
we spoke.
inconvenienced by you.
Oh, she was so annoyed, and I knew it. And what I wanted to say is, but here's the thing. Obviously, her
won't even
employer
matter.
doesn't care because she's still on the phone.
No.
She
Her
doesn't
employer
care.
doesn't know.
Yeah.
Her employer, so the owner of the business, and let's take this out of the medical field.
Yeah.
I assume as the owner of the business that you're going to treat everybody that calls us really, really well,
Yeah.
because that's exactly what I would do, because that's the only way that we bring in customers and make money.
Yeah.
But you as an employee, you don't make that connection.
No.
So you're man, I was just sitting here enjoying scrolling through Facebook, and then the phone rang. What an inconvenience this is. So,
Do you know how she wouldn't have been rude to me if she had said, I am so sorry, and I understand sometimes we go over so much information in that first call that could be missed, and I get that you're frustrated. I'm going to do my best to get you an appointment as close to the one you had. I wouldn't have left that being like, you're the biggest jerk I ever spoke to. Screw your dentist office. It would have switched that conversation
yeah.
all the way
Like, hey,
around.
we canceled this an hour ago. I'll see if the spot's still available.
Like, hear me and respond
Yeah.
back the right way. All right,
That's
rant
why.
over.
That's why you're in that role in our business, I guess.
Exactly.
All right, good.
Sorry,
well,
Jewel. Was I all right? I didn't swear. Jewel's
Related
like,
to that, related to that, tip number 6: consider the different ways people digest and learn information.
yes.
So for me, I learn things best by like observing or watching or doing a little bit, right? So if I want to know how to fix the water pump in my truck, I'm going to watch a video of someone doing that, and then I'm going to go in and do it. But I'm not just going to watch to see like which size socket you need on which bolt to remove the thing. I'm also going to want to understand how the overall system works to see how it fits together, right? There are other people. So let's talk about the different ways that people learn. One, some people learn by reading. Like they can read that email or read that text message. We're getting emails right now from Royce's school that are 9 pages long. And it's like, I got to read this entire thing to understand what's happening. But not everybody, I read it because I really, really, really want to stay informed. But there are other people that are going to say, you know what, this 9-page email could have been a 60-second video or 120-second video. So that's another way that people learn is through audio or video.
I feel like that's more nowadays. People are more used to the
Well, it's
listening
just
and-
easier to send video
Yeah.
now than it ever has been. But again, you have to understand that. Like some people are just going to absorb better by listening or watching a video. So even in our training of employees, we want to make sure that they get this. But communicating with clients, right? We were just talking about we have some new forms that we have to get signed, and they're really confusing. So we're going to do an email explaining what the form is, and then we're going to do a video explaining what the form is, and then we're going to offer a phone call that if you don't understand the form, you can sit with us and go through it with you. Right. So we understand all of those different methodologies, and just assuming that everybody reads the entire email that you send.
Yeah.
Or I got other guys that I'm in the, in their intake and sales funnel right now, and all they do is send me videos. Well, if the videos aren't captioned, I'm not going to watch them. Like I'll watch it in silence and I'll read the captions. So this was, I don't know, have we talked about Alex Hormozi's recent book launch on the show?
No.
I don't think we have.
No.
So he did a book launch, I guess it was a week and a half ago now. And so this is the third book in his series. This is called $100 Million Money Models. And he broke a Guinness World Record at his book launch. He sold more books, like the Art of the Deal, for example, which was Trump's autobiography. I think it was maybe biography, maybe a little bit of both. Maybe it was completely made up. Anyway, Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, was published in, I don't know, like late 80s, early 90s.
Wow.
And it has sold a certain number of millions of copies. Hormozi did that in a weekend.
Wow.
Like broke a world record, right? But people on the internet are freaking out about the way that he did it because his slides that he used for his presentation, he basically had his entire speech written on the slides. And we know best practice is don't put a lot of words on the slide because
Yes.
people don't want to read. But what these people that are saying, well, he broke the rule, aren't understanding that I was at a football game during this launch.
Yeah.
So I had YouTube open watching this pitch, but I couldn't listen to it. But I could sit there and read every single slide that he put up there and still get the same lesson, right?
Yep.
So I think just assuming, well, the way that I said it is the way that you should receive it, I
Right.
think is completely
that.
missing the point. Yeah. So tip number 6 is be aware of the different ways that people digest
Yes.
information and learn. Could be reading, could be listening, could be watching, could be observing, could be doing and learning experientially. But that's really important is, you know, I can't tell you how many employees send me an email and assume that the job is done. And it's like, well, 1, I'm not checking the email that frequently, but 2, I got a lot more questions than this. I want to understand the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
So, or I've been going through the same thing getting my pilot's license, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there's value to reading, and yes, there's value to watching videos, but there's also value to, you know, flying a plane. So the good courses kind of capture all of those things. Okay. Tip number 7. This is related to that. Have some empathy.
Yeah.
Put yourself in the shoes of the recipient of the information and speak their language. This is driving me crazy. I'm doing interviews with CPAs that use so much jargon, and I tell them up front, I'm not the accountant.
Yeah.
You need to talk to me like I'm 5. But they use this terminology that only really experienced accountants understand.
Yeah.
And if they can't explain it to me, they can't explain it to our clients, right? Health insurance.
Oh yeah, this is
Don't even get me started on health insurance. The terms that they use and assume that people get it.
I don't
here's
get
a 37 column 92 row spreadsheet comparing your different policies, and if you wanted the HMO versus the PPO versus the HSA versus the HRA, then you need the high deductible plan.
I have no idea what that means.
Nobody does unless you sell health insurance or unless you spend your entire... Listen, I got no offense, I got more important things to worry about than which one of these 17 policies is going to be best for us. So why don't you make it easy on me? Why don't you explain how all of this stuff works in a language that I understand? But they don't. They use their language. Lawyers are guilty of this.
Yeah.
They use the words from laws and regulations and from court opinions, but they don't use words that the average American understands. What were we talking about? I don't know if you were in there the other day, but like if you're going to write an ad or if you're going to write a sales letter, it's Chrissy. You may have been in the call, but you need to write it at a 5th grade level because that's how most people understand it. But instead we need to use big words to impress people.
Yeah.
Or we need to use jargon that nobody really understands or acronyms. So put yourself in the recipient's shoes and make sure they actually understand it and use their language, right? We can talk about tax controversy in our business.
Yes.
We can talk about tax resolution in our business. Or we can say, if you got a letter from the IRS saying you owe money, call us.
Very simple.
Right?
I understand.
We can talk about tax strategy. We can talk about tax advisory. Or we can say, hey, if you think you pay too much in taxes, call us. We can help.
Yeah.
But most people don't think about, does the listener, I got all my words out and that's all that matters. That's usually the case with this stuff.
I
and
understood what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we've been talking
That's
about.
it. Yep.
Okay. What was number 8? Results?
Results. So pay attention
this
to
was
your
yours.
results. Yeah. So I added these. The pay attention to your results. How do you know if you're communicating effectively? So you said, and we talked about this, if your communication is effective, then tasks are being completed and there are fewer areas of confusion.
And there's less frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If all of that stuff is continuing to happen, then you're not communicating effectively.
You've broken one of these rules.
Exactly. I want to go quickly through because there is something I want you to, because I liked it. So
Okay, fine.
Proactive.
Number 9, be proactive.
Take away the wonder. We said this earlier. Again, communicate with your clients before they have to communicate with you.
Yeah.
So try and give them the information. Try and tell them what's going on, because a lot of people, when they're sitting there wondering, they're going to worst case
They
scenario.
assume the worst. Yeah.
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 So if you
what's-
can take
what's the
that away.
status of my repair job? Or
Yes.
what's the status of this project that you're working on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And accountability.
That you added that one.
Yeah. And again, this is, I like this because most people don't want to be accountable for, again, we talked about this earlier, for
Anything.
anything. So you have to find a way to make sure that being accountable, saying I made a mistake or saying, like, encourage accountability. Because a lot of times it's not.
And not just top-down accountability, not just the manager walking in the room and saying
Right.
you're not doing a good job, but really the other team members coming in the room and saying, hey, here's the standard, you're below it. Again, being direct about
Yeah.
it. So it's a cultural thing and not a top-down thing.
Okay, I want you to talk about, because we were you said something the other day when we were planning this show, and you said that, because I'm like, a lot of people don't encourage this in business or in this in team. I've never worked for anyone that encourages, accountability with your teammates and telling people what your expectations are. And you said that's because a lot of people don't run their business like sports; they run it like their family.
Oh.
And
Yeah, so you're gonna communicate a certain way with your family because you want to get along, and you're gonna look at your coworkers or your employees and say, we're a big family. And the problem is families are toxic.
yes.
They're dysfunctional. They are. Joel, I don't know if you picked that up on the microphone. Joel slapped his forehead when I said that because he knows it's true.
Yep.
Versus a sports team, it's a different way of communicating, and they are there to win.
Yes.
So I am going to tell you what I need and what I expect from you in order to win. I'm not going to gossip behind your back. I'm not going to, gaslight you. I'm going to tell you you're not holding up your end of the bargain on this thing. I asked you to send me a Kobe Bryant video the other day so I could share it with Royce. You sent me 19 of them.
Yeah.
So I've been spending a lot of time thinking about that. Kobe didn't pass the ball because he didn't think his teammates were working hard enough to deserve having the ball passed to them.
And people didn't like him because of
And
that.
he will tell them, you're not doing a good enough job, so I'm not going to pass you the ball. Well, in my business, if you're not putting in the work, if you're not learning and growing and trying to get better, you're not getting off the bench.
Yep.
I'm going to cut you from the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that
people make, so here's the, in
I feel
the
like
workplace.
when I explained that when we were preparing, I explained it better.
Well, because it was on the fly. Like
Yeah.
it was a thought that just came out.
Yeah.
But people want to make friends with their teammates.
Yep.
Right? So,
Yep.
but you know what happens when you make friends?
You don't win.
Well, that, and when they aren't doing what they're supposed to do, it's a lot harder to tell them, like, hey,
Yeah.
you are dropping the ball and it is really causing us to go in a bad direction. You're never going to say it because now I don't want my friendship. The friendship now has trumped the success of the business.
Right.
I always say I want to be cordial and nice in the room, but I'm not there to be friends with you. I'm there to do my job and make sure that the business is successful, because that's the only way that I become more successful.
Yeah. There's a healthy balance there for sure, that the teams that get along the best probably aren't winning championships. Teams with a little bit of conflict and a little bit of internal competition, those are the ones winning the championships.
Yeah.
The teams where you occasionally get really ticked off at somebody else on the team because they're either outworking you and it shines a spotlight on your lack of work, or they're not working hard enough and you're frustrated and disappointed in them, those are the teams that I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of the teams that we've got to do another team building activity next week because it's great for the culture. No, I'm creating a culture of winning, and that means we're going to say mean things to each other every now and then because that's what is required to win. But in our family, we're going to be toxic
Everybody
and
must get
dysfunctional and
along.
supportive, and we're going to try and get along. Yeah. And that's not, I want to be pushed and I want to be challenged, and I want a team that pushes each other and challenges each other so that we can win.
Well, I was reading when putting this together, and it said from conflict comes success and results, because that conflict makes you challenge each other and come up with solutions.
Oh,
and
that's
changes.
it. I encourage people to go out and find conflict in their business and find friction in their business, because or create it in some instances. If things are going too smoothly, you're missing something.
There's a problem.
So yeah, we like to go out and find, let's go out and break a system and rebuild it, or let's go out and push people a little bit harder than they think they should be pushed right now. This is coming right now because we just did our strategic planning on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're about to have some 100-day sprints and 30-day sprints that are going to require a lot of work. And if you aren't holding up your end of the bargain, you're gonna know about it because we're not going to be winning.
Yep.
Okay, so we didn't talk about any of the other notes that you put together
No,
for
it's
this,
all
but
right.
you did spend a lot of time researching Patrick Lencioni and 5 dysfunctions of a
did.
team, so we really appreciate that. But go out, get better at communicating. Don't be afraid to be a great communicator. Have a great week. I believe in you.